In today's yield-starved environment, finding any kind of return for your cash on hand has been increasingly difficult. And that includes banks overseas, which have historically offered higher interest rates. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 countries where banks are still paying high interest rates, not on foreign currencies, but on your US dollars. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson here at Nomad Capitalist. We help successful 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs legally go where they're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. And I have been talking about how to use offshore banks to legally, transparently increase your asset protection, increase your diversification, hold different currencies, have money overseas to make investments in other places. It's all part of a global, diversified lifestyle. We've got a lot of videos on our YouTube channel about it if you want to learn more. But what I've seen in 2020 is as interest rates go to 0 and below, even countries that paid historically high interest rates on savings, such as Georgia, have had to really lower their rates. I just renewed a term deposit in one of my Georgian banks at 2.35%. Certainly a lot better than what you get in the United States, but nothing truly incredible. There are still 3 countries where you can find relatively decent rates, and if there's one that I'm missing, leave a comment below. I want to hear from you. The first country is Ecuador. Now, the currency in Ecuador is the US dollar, so it's not really a foreign currency to them. And if you use some of the credit unions there, you can still get interest rates up to as much as about 7% on long-term term deposits. Now, credit unions are involved in more kind of everyday loans. They may be making loans to rural individuals, and so you want to take that into account. They're not necessarily banks. Banks generally pay a little bit less interest. But if you're willing to tie up some capital in a credit union, Ecuador is one place where they're still paying those high interest rates. Number 2 in Asia is Cambodia. We've talked about Cambodia for a long time. Unfortunately, it's become more difficult to open a bank account in Cambodia because they require you to have a 6 or a 12-month visa. And while getting a business visa in Cambodia used to be as easy as just showing up, now they are at times being a bit more difficult in terms of issuing those. There is a little bit of work to go through. These are all places where you're going to generally need to go there or have an attorney who can help you open the account remotely. But in Cambodia, you can still get interest rates up to about 4% on your US dollars. And you have banks that have come in from Malaysia, for example, companies that have come in from Korea and Japan. So you've got banks that have a good regional footprint. You can make higher interest rates. Cambodia also, while having their own currency, really does use the US dollar a lot in transactions. And so if you have the stomach for Cambodia, I feel pretty comfortable with it. I feel pretty comfortable with some of the banks that are there. And if you're willing to go through that hassle, definitely check out some of the other opportunities while you're there. Make it a trip, but they do offer higher interest rates. The third country that's still offering higher rates is Armenia. And we have banks there that are still paying as much as like 5.75% on long-term US dollar term deposits. You can also make higher interest on the Armenian dram, which has been pretty steady with the US dollar for a number of years now. But if you just want to stick to US dollars, I have banks paying 3.9%, paying 5.25%, and if you want to really drag it out as long as possible, you can get as much as 5.75% as I am sitting here. Now again, most of these accounts are going to require you to go there in person, so if you're just looking to put in $5,000, it's probably not worth it, other than the fact that I do think going to some of these countries opens your horizons. The more interesting places, the more off-the-wall places you go to, the more you realize why there's so many opportunities in the world. And I think the less scared you'll be of these types of places. Certainly to the average person, you need a little bit of a stomach to go and park your money in these countries. And so even if I didn't have a lot of money, I might be tempted to go to one of these places that interested me personally, open a bank account while I'm there, and just start to get the feeling of how a year later my $5,000 or $10,000 is still there. Right? And I think that is a way to help you get more comfortable with the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle. Definitely plenty of other places where you can bank offshore. I still think that Georgia is interesting, but a lot of countries have lowered rates. Serbia has lowered rates. in recent years, down to almost nothing. Turkey, which one time had decent opportunities, they've lowered rates. You can still get citizenship and residence permits in some countries merely by opening a bank account. These countries don't necessarily offer that. Ecuador does. But if you're looking for higher interest for higher interest's sake, those are 3 countries that you can still consider. It'll be interesting to watch how this changes over the coming years as countries set interest rates very, very low. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.